Appearances can be deceiving, and nowhere is this more evident than in moments when the surface image presented to the world conceals the depth of experience, resilience, or strength that lies beneath. In the scenario where the trainee's pants were torn off in front of everyone, the immediate visual impression suggested vulnerability, exposure, and perhaps weakness. Observers, conditioned by societal norms and expectations, instinctively read the situation as a moment of embarrassment or a test of humility. Yet beneath that initial perception lay a reality that contradicted the superficial judgment of those watching. The lower back that was revealed told a story, whether through scars, tattoos, or other marks, of past experiences, endurance, and personal trials that had shaped her character long before this moment of public scrutiny. The difference between what is seen and what is real underscores the critical lesson that appearances are rarely a complete representation of someone's abilities or fortitude. In this context, the trainee's composure in the face of a sudden, involuntary exposure demonstrated that strength is not always visible at first glance. While the room might have expected discomfort, embarrassment, or even hesitation, her reaction, steady, confident, and unflinching, challenged the superficial assumptions made by onlookers. This moment illuminated the distinction between external impressions and internal reality, revealing that true capability often lies beneath layers of circumstance, experience, and personal history that are not immediately apparent. Furthermore, appearances can mislead because they encourage snap judgments and assumptions based solely on limited information. The observers in this scenario may have interpreted her vulnerability as weakness, yet their reading failed to account for the depth of preparation, resilience, and character that had brought her to this point. The marks revealed on her lower back carried implicit evidence of her past challenges and triumphs. Each scar, tattoo, or line a testament to endurance, courage, or accomplishment. To those untrained in reading such signs, these details might seem incidental or even irrelevant, but they represented the cumulative proof of strength that could not be conveyed through mere posture or facial expression alone. In broader terms, the scenario illustrates a universal principle. Humans are adept at making quick judgments based on appearances, but these judgments often omit critical context. True understanding requires looking beyond the superficial, recognizing the unseen layers of experience and capability that inform behavior, decision-making, and performance. In the military or high-stakes environments, this lesson is particularly salient, as initial impressions can be misleading, and misjudging an individual's capacity may have serious consequences. The trainee's moment of exposure thus serves as a metaphor for the broader truth that appearances rarely tell the full story. Beyond the immediate visual reveal, this scenario also underscores the importance of presence and self-awareness. Maintaining composure under conditions that challenge personal dignity or social expectations demonstrates an internalized strength that is not dependent on external validation. The trainee's ability to remain poised when every eye was on her highlighted a resilience that could not be inferred from outward appearances alone. Observers who assumed weakness were forced to confront the reality that what they saw, the momentary exposure, was only a fragment of her identity, a fragment that masked a complex combination of training, experience, and personal fortitude. Additionally, appearances can be deceiving because they often evoke emotional reactions that are disproportionate to the underlying facts. Laughter, surprise, or shock from the crowd reflected their interpretation of the situation. Yet these reactions were based on superficial cues rather than an understanding of the individual's capabilities or history. The dissonance between expectation and reality created a powerful narrative. The moment of perceived vulnerability became a stage for demonstrating invisible strength, transforming an apparently compromising situation into an opportunity for recognition and respect. This phenomenon also illustrates how superficial judgments can obscure true merit and the potential for exceptional performance. By underestimating the trainee based on her appearance or the suddenness of the moment, the observers missed the indicators of skill, resilience, and mental toughness that were already present. When the reality of her strength became evident, it challenged their assumptions, forcing a reevaluation of what had initially been perceived as weakness. In essence, the incident serves as a compelling example of how appearances can mislead, how superficial impressions can mask profound capability, and how strength, physical, mental, and emotional, often resides beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to reveal itself in ways that surprise, inspire, and command respect. Courage is revealed in moments of unexpected vulnerability, often emerging most clearly when individuals are faced with situations that challenge their dignity, confidence, or sense of control. In the scenario where the trainee's pants were forcibly removed in front of a room full of observers, the immediate instinct for many would be to recoil, hide, or shrink from the embarrassment of exposure. Yet courage is not the absence of fear or discomfort. It is the conscious decision to confront those feelings and act with composure and integrity despite them. The trainee's response in this moment highlighted that true bravery often manifests in the quiet resilience with which one meets public scrutiny and intense social pressure. Vulnerability can be an unexpected catalyst for courage because it strips away the protective layers that allow individuals to feel secure or shielded from judgment. When someone is placed in a situation where their physical or personal boundaries are suddenly and publicly challenged, they are confronted with the raw essence of fear, uncertainty, and potential humiliation. How they respond in that moment provides profound insight into their character, revealing mental strength, self-confidence, and the capacity to endure discomfort without capitulation. In this instance, the trainee's ability to maintain composure under the gaze of peers and superiors demonstrated that courage is deeply tied to self-mastery. It is one thing to perform confidently in controlled or familiar circumstances, but it is another to do so when the environment is unpredictable, observers are skeptical, and the stakes are personal and social. By facing the situation with poise, she exemplified the principle that courage is most compelling when it emerges not in preparation or rehearsal, but spontaneously in response to unforeseen challenges. Moreover, vulnerability itself often magnifies the significance of courageous action. When one is exposed, physically, emotionally, or psychologically, the potential consequences of misjudgment or error are amplified, creating a heightened context in which bravery is tested. The trainee's courage became particularly evident because the exposure was involuntary, immediate, and public. Her choice to remain upright, steady, and unflinching conveyed strength far more powerfully than words or posturing could, illustrating that actions taken in moments of vulnerability carry a resonance that deliberate displays of confidence cannot replicate. Courage in these circumstances also inspires others by demonstrating the transformative power of facing adversity with dignity. Observers who initially assumed weakness or anticipated embarrassment were forced to reassess their perceptions, recognizing that resilience and bravery are not always visible until tested. The trainee's composure under duress served as a model, showing that facing uncomfortable or challenging situations head-on can command respect, influence perception, and redefine expectations. Furthermore, courage revealed through vulnerability is closely intertwined with authenticity. In moments of exposure, pretense and facade are stripped away, leaving the individual with little choice but to respond genuinely. The trainee's calm and controlled reaction signified that she was not attempting to mask fear or impress onlookers. She was acting in alignment with her true capabilities and inner confidence. This authenticity amplifies the impact of courage because it is rooted in reality rather than performance, making the demonstration both credible and inspiring. The psychological aspect of courage is also critical in such scenarios. Maintaining focus, resisting the urge to panic, and controlling emotional responses in the face of sudden exposure requires mental discipline. It demands the ability to reframe the situation, prioritize rational responses over instinctive reactions, and draw upon previous experience or training to navigate the challenge effectively. The trainee's ability to harness these mental faculties under pressure highlighted that courage is not merely a fleeting emotion, but a practiced and deliberate capacity that can be strengthened over time through experience and reflection. Additionally, acts of courage in vulnerable moments often leave lasting impressions that extend beyond the immediate context. The observers who witnessed the trainee's reaction carried away a story of resilience and bravery that can influence perceptions, morale, and expectations in future interactions. The moment, initially designed to provoke discomfort or test obedience, instead became a powerful demonstration of inner strength, capable of inspiring respect and admiration among peers and superiors alike. Courage, therefore, is most compelling not when it is anticipated or rehearsed, but when it arises naturally in response to unexpected trials, particularly those that expose personal vulnerabilities. The trainee's example illustrates that bravery is not always loud, dramatic, or celebrated. It can be quiet, steady, and internal, yet its effects resonate powerfully in the environment, reshaping assumptions, revealing hidden strength, and transforming moments of potential humiliation into occasions of extraordinary respect and recognition. True respect is earned through resilience, not intimidation, and this principle becomes strikingly clear in situations where individuals are tested under pressure or confronted with circumstances designed to provoke fear, discomfort, or embarrassment. In the scenario where the trainee's pants were forcibly removed in front of a room full of peers and superiors, observers may have initially assumed that authority, social pressure, or intimidation would dictate the outcome, expecting submission, flustered reactions, or visible discomfort. Yet true respect is not a product of coercion or dominance. It emerges when individuals respond to adversity with composure, strength, and perseverance. The trainee's ability to maintain poise in this vulnerable moment exemplified resilience in its purest form, demonstrating that respect is commanded by actions, not assumed through hierarchical position or intimidation tactics. Resilience, in this context, is multifaceted, encompassing emotional, mental, and physical components. Emotionally, the trainee had to navigate immediate feelings of embarrassment, surprise, and potential humiliation, transforming these natural reactions into controlled composure. Mentally, she needed to maintain focus, awareness, and clarity, ensuring that her response was deliberate rather than reactive. Physically, she held herself with steady posture, avoiding gestures or movements that could signal fear or weakness. This integration of resilience across dimensions created a presence that inherently demanded acknowledgement and respect from all who were watching. Respect rooted in resilience also carries enduring weight, because it reflects consistency and authenticity in behavior under challenging circumstances. Unlike respect that arises from fear, coercion, or superficial impressions, the respect inspired by resilient action is durable. It persists beyond the immediate moment and influences future interactions, shaping how peers and superiors perceive competence, reliability, and character. In military or high-pressure training environments, this distinction is particularly significant, as superficial compliance or fear-induced behavior often fails to reflect true capability, while resilience provides tangible evidence of readiness, adaptability, and inner strength. Furthermore, resilience transforms potential moments of humiliation into opportunities for recognition and admiration. When the trainee faced public exposure, the intended effect may have been to assert dominance or elicit submission. Instead, her steady, composed, and controlled reaction subverted expectations, turning the scenario on its head. Observers who anticipated a display of vulnerability were confronted with a demonstration of strength, which not only commanded immediate respect, but also reframed perceptions of her abilities, character, and presence. This process highlights that respect is intrinsically linked to perception, and resilience shapes perception by illustrating competence, self-control, and unwavering determination. True respect also involves a recognition of the individual's ability to endure challenges without resorting to aggression, retaliation, or defensiveness. The trainee's calm response communicated confidence in her own capability and authority over her reactions, signaling that her strength was internal rather than dependent on external validation or intimidation. Such a demonstration is particularly compelling because it contrasts sharply with reactions born of fear or social pressure, emphasizing that authentic respect arises when others witness the ability to maintain control and integrity in the face of adversity. Additionally, resilience cultivates trust, a critical component of respect. Observers who see an individual withstand pressure and respond effectively are more likely to trust their judgment, reliability, and decision-making in future scenarios. By handling the unexpected exposure with steadiness and composure, the trainee not only commanded respect in the immediate moment, but also established a foundation for long-term credibility and authority within her group. The contrast between intimidation and resilience further underscores the lesson that respect cannot be fabricated through dominance or force. Intimidation may elicit compliance temporarily, but it rarely engenders admiration, loyalty, or genuine acknowledgement of capability. In contrast, resilience demonstrates a capacity to face adversity, adapt, and maintain integrity, creating a powerful and enduring impression on those who witness it. Moreover, the trainee's experience illustrates that respect earned through resilience extends beyond mere observation of a single act. It is reinforced through the demonstration of consistent composure, mental fortitude, and the ability to navigate challenges gracefully. Observers recognize patterns of strength, drawing connections between one courageous act and the individual's overall character, further solidifying respect that is authentic and lasting. In essence, the scenario exemplifies the principle that true respect is not conferred through fear, authority, or intimidation, but through the consistent display of resilience in the face of adversity, highlighting the profound impact of composure, courage, and inner strength on perception, credibility, and recognition among peers and superiors alike. Embarrassment can transform into a powerful demonstration of character, revealing dimensions of courage, resilience, and integrity that are often hidden beneath the surface of everyday interactions. In situations where individuals are exposed to sudden scrutiny or public discomfort, the natural reaction is often to shrink, withdraw, or attempt to mask the perceived flaw or vulnerability. Yet it is precisely in these moments of heightened self-consciousness that true character emerges, as the way one responds to embarrassment can either diminish or elevate the perception of personal strength. In the scenario where the trainee's pants were forcibly removed in front of peers and superiors, the initial appearance suggested vulnerability, humiliation, and loss of control. Observers may have anticipated visible distress, flustered reactions, or a retreat from the situation, all of which would conform to conventional expectations of embarrassment. However, the trainee's composed, steady, and deliberate response defied these assumptions, transforming a moment designed to elicit discomfort into a stage for demonstrating poise, confidence, and inner fortitude. This transformation occurs because embarrassment is a social and psychological stimulus that tests the individual's ability to manage perception, emotions, and behavior under pressure. When confronted with unexpected exposure or scrutiny, the individual has the opportunity to either succumb to reactive emotions or to exercise control, turning a potentially negative situation into a showcase of self-mastery. The trainee's reaction exemplified the latter, illustrating that character is not defined by the absence of challenge or vulnerability, but by the capacity to navigate such challenges with integrity and composure. Moreover, embarrassment provides a unique lens through which observers can assess authenticity and resilience. Moments of public exposure strip away the protective layers that individuals often construct in daily life, revealing raw responses to stress, judgment, or scrutiny. The trainee's ability to remain grounded and unfazed signaled a profound internal strength that commands respect and recognition, demonstrating that character is most visible not in controlled or comfortable circumstances, but in the unpredictable and challenging moments that test composure. In addition, Transforming embarrassment into a demonstration of character requires mental reframing, a conscious choice to reinterpret the situation and respond with purpose rather than instinctively reacting to discomfort. The trainee likely understood that the exposure, while socially challenging, was temporary and did not diminish her abilities, training, or value as a professional. By shifting focus from external judgment to internal control, she converted a moment of potential shame into an opportunity to showcase discipline, resilience, and confidence. This process also underscores the role of self-awareness in moments of public exposure. Recognizing one's emotional state, understanding the dynamics of the environment, and consciously regulating reactions are critical components of turning embarrassment into a testament to character. The trainee's steady demeanor communicated to observers that she was neither dominated by fear nor defined by the immediate social pressure, reinforcing the perception of strength, composure, and professionalism. Furthermore, embarrassment, when managed effectively, can amplify the impact of one's actions. Observers who anticipated discomfort or flustered behavior were met instead with calm confidence, creating a stark contrast that magnified the impression of competence and resilience. In this sense, the very situation designed to challenge or destabilize the trainee served to highlight her exceptional character, turning social expectation on its head. The transformation of embarrassment into a demonstration of character also has broader implications for leadership and personal development. Individuals who can navigate unexpected exposure with dignity demonstrate qualities that inspire trust, respect, and admiration. Such experiences reveal the capacity to maintain poise under scrutiny, adapt to challenging circumstances, and exercise influence through personal example rather than coercion or authority. Additionally, moments of public vulnerability can serve as pivotal learning experiences, teaching the individual about emotional regulation, perception management, and the importance of resilience in shaping how others perceive them. By confronting embarrassment directly and responding with strength, the trainee modeled the principle that adversity can be leveraged to reveal, rather than diminish, personal character. The scenario illustrates that the interplay between vulnerability and composure is central to the development of respect and credibility. Observers are often more impressed by the ability to maintain control in moments of potential shame than by routine performance in comfortable circumstances. In essence, embarrassment becomes a catalyst for demonstrating character, highlighting the individual's courage, resilience, and capacity to rise above expectation, and transforming a potentially negative social stimulus into a powerful affirmation of personal integrity and strength. Hidden stories and marks often carry deeper meaning than visible actions, serving as silent testaments to experience, resilience, and personal history that are not immediately apparent to the casual observer. In the scenario where the trainee's pants were torn off in front of peers and superiors, revealing her lower back, the observers were confronted with an image that, at first glance, might have seemed trivial or shocking purely in terms of physical exposure. Yet what was visible on her back, whether scars, tattoos, or other distinguishing marks, held far greater significance than mere aesthetics or superficial curiosity. Each mark represented a narrative of endurance, past challenges, accomplishments, or moments of personal significance that contributed to the formation of her identity and strength. These hidden stories, etched into her skin or carried symbolically, provided insight into her character in a way that overt actions alone could not. Often, society tends to prioritize visible deeds or immediate behaviors as indicators of capability, valor, or credibility, overlooking the subtle markers of personal history that convey resilience and depth. In this context, the trainee's revealed back became a canvas of lived experience, silently communicating trials overcome, lessons learned, and the persistence required to reach her current level of competence and composure. Observers who failed to recognize the depth behind these marks would miss the fuller narrative of her journey, underscoring the idea that true understanding requires looking beyond surface appearances. Furthermore, These hidden stories emphasize the cumulative effect of past experiences in shaping present capabilities. Every mark or scar may symbolize a previous challenge met, a risk taken, or a moment of discipline and courage that contributed to the development of skills and inner strength. While the immediate scenario created a moment of tension and potential embarrassment, the marks revealed a legacy of resilience that demanded recognition and respect. They serve as proof that the individual is not defined solely by external circumstances or momentary situations, but by a continuum of effort, growth, and persistence over time. The depth of meaning behind hidden stories also influences perception and judgment in high-stakes environments. Observers who take the time to understand or intuit the significance of these marks gain insight into the individual's capacity to handle pressure, adversity, and unexpected challenges. In contrast, those who focus solely on the immediate visual spectacle may misinterpret or underestimate the capabilities being demonstrated. The trainee's composed reaction in combination with the revealed back illustrates the interplay between visible performance and the invisible history that informs it. Hidden stories provide context, grounding observed actions in a larger narrative that explains why someone can respond with confidence, composure, and effectiveness in situations that might overwhelm others. Additionally, these marks often carry symbolic significance, representing more than personal history. They can convey values, priorities, or identity markers that communicate to observers who are attuned to subtle cues. In military or high-performance settings, understanding these signals can offer insight into resilience, commitment, and psychological preparedness, showing that the individual's competence is rooted in experiences that may not be immediately visible. The notion that hidden stories carry deeper meaning also underscores the importance of empathy and perspective-taking. Observers who recognize that there is more to a person than what is immediately seen are better positioned to appreciate the depth of their skill, judgment, and resilience. By looking past the surface, they can witness the convergence of history, preparation, and character that enables extraordinary responses in moments of challenge. Furthermore, hidden marks often serve as reminders that personal strength is cumulative and multifaceted. Physical scars, tattoos, or other symbolic indicators may represent trials that tested courage, mental fortitude, or perseverance. When revealed in moments of vulnerability or public scrutiny, these markers provide tangible evidence of the experiences that have shaped the individual, reinforcing the principle that capacity, skill, and character are the results of layered, sustained effort rather than spontaneous appearance. The scenario illustrates that understanding the full story behind a person requires attention to both what is visible and what is concealed. Hidden marks and stories enrich perception, offering a more complete picture of capability, resilience, and identity. They reveal the profound depth behind seemingly ordinary or vulnerable moments, demonstrating that strength, skill, and character are often encoded in history, experience, and endurance, waiting for the right moment to be acknowledged and understood by those who look beyond the surface. Moments of tension can become defining instances of recognition and awe, illustrating how brief episodes of pressure, scrutiny, or unexpected challenge can reveal the deepest layers of a person's skill, character, and resilience. In the scenario where the trainee's pants were forcibly removed in front of everyone, the room was instantly filled with anticipation, surprise, and social discomfort. What could have been perceived as a fleeting moment of humiliation instead evolved into a pivotal experience, demonstrating that the way an individual responds under stress can transform ordinary situations into remarkable events that leave lasting impressions. The defining nature of such moments lies in their ability to amplify qualities that might otherwise remain unnoticed or unappreciated. Observers often enter these situations with preconceived notions, expectations, or biases, anticipating reactions that conform to social norms or stereotypical behavior. When the trainee defied these expectations, maintaining composure, projecting confidence, and responding with deliberate control, the contrast between assumption and reality heightened the sense of awe, leaving an indelible mark on those witnessing the scene. Tension acts as a catalyst because it creates a high-stakes environment in which every action, expression, and decision is scrutinized. The heightened awareness generated by social pressure or unexpected exposure magnifies the significance of the individual's response, turning a routine or uncomfortable event into a showcase of inner strength and capability. In these circumstances, the combination of vulnerability and resilience creates a powerful narrative, one in which observers recognize not just the visible action, but the underlying qualities, discipline, courage, and self-mastery that make the action extraordinary. Recognition in such moments is closely tied to the observer's perception of effort, control, and skill under duress. When someone navigates a challenging situation with calm and confidence, it conveys competence and reliability, signaling to those watching that the individual possesses qualities worthy of trust, admiration, and respect. In the trainee's case, the forced exposure of her lower back, initially designed to provoke embarrassment or establish dominance, instead became the stage for demonstrating mastery over fear, social pressure, and unexpected circumstances. The awe inspired in the observers stems not merely from the visual elements of the scene, but from the juxtaposition of anticipation and outcome. They expected vulnerability and hesitation, yet witnessed control, resilience, and poise. This contrast transforms ordinary interactions into moments of heightened emotional and psychological impact, demonstrating that perception is often influenced more by context and expectation than by the act itself. Moments of tension also serve to crystallize narratives, making them memorable and meaningful. Ordinary days, routines, or exercises rarely create lasting impressions, but when an event combines surprise, challenge, and visible demonstration of strength, it becomes emblematic of broader principles: courage, perseverance, and authenticity. The trainee's ability to handle the sudden exposure with dignity created a narrative that observers could internalize, recount, and admire long after the immediate circumstances had passed. Moreover, tension-driven moments allow latent qualities to emerge. Traits such as mental toughness, focus, and resilience often remain hidden until circumstances demand their demonstration. The scenario exemplifies how a seemingly simple event, a brief exposure under observation, can draw out capabilities that had been cultivated over time, revealing the depth of preparation, training, and personal fortitude. These moments also emphasize the interconnectedness of vulnerability and strength. While exposure or challenge may initially appear to place the individual at a disadvantage, the capacity to respond effectively, maintain control, and project confidence converts potential weakness into a defining strength. Observers are attuned to this transformation, experiencing a mixture of surprise, admiration, and respect as the individual transcends the anticipated limitations of the moment. The psychological dynamics of tension further amplify recognition. Humans are naturally attuned to deviations from expectation, and when someone rises above anticipated reactions, demonstrating capability, resilience, and composure, the impact on the audience is magnified. The trainee's reaction in this situation capitalized on this principle, as the observer's initial assumptions were challenged, creating a heightened sense of astonishment and acknowledgement. Additionally, these defining moments often serve as benchmarks for future perception. Observers internalize the significance of how individuals handle unexpected adversity, shaping expectations, trust, and credibility in subsequent interactions. The trainee's demonstration of control and resilience in a socially charged and vulnerable context established a reference point for her competence, character, and potential that would inform future assessments and interactions. In essence, moments of tension are transformative because they compress risk, scrutiny, and opportunity into brief intervals where the individual's response can define perception, inspire admiration, and reveal hidden strengths, demonstrating that the interplay of pressure, vulnerability, and composure can turn even the most unexpected circumstances into instances of enduring recognition and awe.